seeing with new eyes. Even in the dark, let's go get lost. Just take my hand, ignore the cost. Forget the plan, I feel the hours ticking down. Wish I could turn it all around, but in my mind, we're frozen perfectly in time. Can we turn back the night? Stay in the streets, can we turn back the night? Stay in the streets, can we turn back the night? Feels like I'm caught up in a trance. Can't come down all night. The city never stood a chance. With you by my side, it's all ours. So don't second guess. Let down your guard. Just take a chance. I feel the hours ticking down. Wish I could turn it all around, but in my mind, we're frozen perfectly in time. Can we turn back the night? Stay in the streets, can we turn back the night? Stay in the streets, can we turn back?
Hello. What is good, Nim fam? Welcome back to the Team Help Ultimate Champion stream. I'm once again joined by SpeedyQ. How are you doing, buddy?
Very, very well. Thanks, Tim. Great to be back. Off a little victory in the Game Week 115. I actually came first in the Ultimate Champions Pro Division, which was very exciting. So, yeah, ready to get the show on the road and wanting to find out how you did in Game Week 115.
Yeah, we'll definitely touch upon your team a little bit there in a second. But Game Week 115 went pretty good for me. So I got 2,025 points in my league, so pretty much max bonuses. And I got 2,114 in the All-Star League we talked about last week. So I came 29th, I think it was, and got 600 600 MGC, which I then helped towards getting a silver pack, which I'll chat a little bit more about in a second. But before we get a little chat into how you did and a little humble brag there, those of us that have joined us in the chat, you lucky people get another chance to win a silver pack this week. So Speedy, tell us all about that.
Yeah, so all we want you guys basically to do is to share your must-have athlete or player for this upcoming game week 117. And one of our UC staff members will take down the details and we will announce the winner near the end of the stream.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, then. I'm excited. Speedy, tell us all about your win. Tell us all about your win.
So it was a long time coming, really. I've been grinding each game week, and it was quite a nice surprise. A couple of the picks that we discussed last week were in that specific team. I also used the sub trick with the midfielders, so I actually had 2 do not play midfielders and a bench full of midfielders, and that worked. And about 2,900 points in total, which was a wow. And yeah, I managed to finish first, which was very, very exciting.
Yeah, that's good. Well done, buddy. And will you be using some of the same people again this week, do you think?
Most definitely, most definitely. I will be using some of them again. I've already started the process of setting the various teams and divisions in the tournaments. A couple of changes. I'm one of those tinker people that look at the team or your various teams every single day and do a couple of tweaks and things like that. But really exciting. I think a little win or a little placement, whatever it may be in a tournament, always gives you a sense of inspiration for the next game week. So very, very excited.
Absolutely. And how did the players we discussed last week do?
Last week we focused on three midfielders, if you can recall. So Bukayo Saka from Arsenal, they were involved in the North London derby, which ended up in a 2-2 draw. Thank you, Jorginho. But Saka did very, very well. 89 minutes, he scored a penalty goal, 200 base score in Ultimate Champions, which is fantastic. Then we had Ezekiel Palacios. There was that discussion between him and Zaka. Both of them scored very, very well. Palacios did sneak it, though. He only played 71 minutes, but with 2 assists and even a yellow card, he scored a base score of 264, which was fantastic.
Mm.
And then our last midfielder pick was Darius Sorare from FCSB. They were involved in a 5-2 drubbing, if I can put it that way, of Sepsi. And he played 76 minutes, 1 goal, 1 assist, and a base score of 259. So those three selections, they may have been obvious selections because of the fixtures and because of their previous performances, but they really did well. So if you had them somewhere in your teams, you would have been smiling.
Yeah, absolutely. But just to be aware now that obviously Saka has picked up that knock and that he didn't play midweek, and Arteta was kind of a bit coy about it. So, I mean, he may use Bournemouth as a bit of a rest for Saka, or a benching. So, yeah, that's one to keep an eye on the pressers, I think, with that one.
Yeah, I think we need to keep an eye on that all the way until deadline. And if you want to potentially take a chance with him, use that sub trick with quite a few midfielders. But yeah, keep an eye on the press.
Absolutely. Cool. Okay, so let's head on to game week 117 and the teams to target.
So what we've done this week is I've targeted three teams that aren't maybe your mainstream teams, if I can put it that way. So the first one is Rapid Bucharest. They play Hermannstadt away over the weekend. Hermannstadt is also playing some very, very good football, but Rapid is currently third in the Superliga. They've been on fire lately. I think in the last 5 games, they've got 4 wins, 1 draw, and they've scored 15 goals. So I would once again focus midfielders up to the top and look at players like your potentially even the goalkeeper, because the goalkeeper has been doing very, very well as well. So players such as your Ratio Moldovan, Marko Duzancic, and then Funzo Bamboya, and don't forget Claudio Petrilia, and we will touch on him a little bit later. Then my second selection is Cardiff City. They played Sunderland last week. They actually beat them near the end 1-0. They play Rotherham, who are second last in the championship table. Cardiff is obviously seventh. And very, very exciting fixture. They're playing at home. They should win comfortably with the potential of a clean sheet on offer as well. And the focus is there, the keeper, Jack Alnwick, Perry and G, Mark McGuinness. He's fresh off a goal against Sunderland. He scored the winning goal last week. So players to keep an eye on for Cardiff, and I foresee them doing very well. And then jumping from the English Championship to the Icelandic League, KA. They play Fram away. They are top of the Iceland relegation round. So they've actually split into the top 6 playoffs and the bottom 6 playoffs. They have, in their last 6 games, they've got 4 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss. And the loss actually came against Vikinga, and they are the basically crown champs of the league this season. They do play this evening, however. We've got a game week 116 running in Ultimate Champion, so keep an eye and tabs on their players that play this evening. But I think they'll be good for the weekend, and you can look at both of the Stein Grimsons, Willard, Edmonton, and Arneson. Can all be great selections.
Yeah, I just wanted to pull back. I didn't want to interrupt you there because you were like in your flow, but a lot of people may be thinking Cardiff, what after losing, what was it, 5-2 to Blackburn last night? I think maybe take that with a little pinch of salt. I don't think Cardiff put out that like particularly put out their best team last night in the Carabao Cup.
No, they didn't. They didn't put out their top team. There were a couple of players there, but your defense in your NG and Mark McGuinness were not in that specific team. And remember, in the championship, they've played six, or out of their last six games, they have won five and lost one. So that's a fantastic. And that loss came against Ipswich, and it was a tight game as well. It was actually a 3-2 scoreline. So really playing good football at this moment.
Yeah, just a shout out to Algis or Algis. Welcome to the Nim fam. Thank you for subscribing, buddy. Okay, so who would the three players we'll be looking at to starting for 117?
The three players are focused on those exact three teams that we've just discussed. So the first one, as I mentioned, Claudio Petrilla. There's a little special thing about this because I actually own his Genesis Mythic, which I've had since last year. He hasn't really performed that well when he was playing for Cluj. Odd couple of good scores on Ultimate Champions. But since he's recently moved across to Rapid, he's played seven. Within those 7 games, 3 goals, 2 assists. His last 5 average of 182 points. As I mentioned, he's on loan from Cluj to Rapid, and they actually played against each other this past game week, and he scored a goal against his previous club, which has loaned him out. So I think he's really, really exciting. His class as a midfielder within Ultimate Champions, but with Rapid, they actually play like a front three type. So he's a left winger, and he gets a lot of chances on the park. So he's really, really doing well since that move. Then Cardiff, we even mentioned his name last week in the stream, Mark McGuinness. Whether they concede or not, he scores very, very well. He's played 8, he's got 1 goal. They've only had 2 clean sheets, but his last 5 average is 175. As I mentioned, he scored last week, and even if they do concede, he scores well. So with the potential clean sheet this week, he could score even better. So that's the other one. And then on KA, Helgrimar Stein Grimson. Obviously, they're nearing the end of their season because there's a couple of games left. They're in the relegation playoff, but remember I mentioned they are top of that. He's played 24 goals this season, only 6 goals, but 10 assists. Last 5 average of 208 points on Ultimate Champions. He's also scored 3 goals in the last 2 games. So remember, he's playing this evening. They have a game tonight in GameWeek 116, and then they play Fram, I think it is, over the weekend away from home. But with his current performance, I think he's a good player to have. But as we always say, do your own research on injuries or pending suspensions and things like that. But these are the top 3, I think.
Yeah, and anyone hearing some dogs in the background, we have cameos from both Speedy's dogs and my dogs at some point. So yeah, just enjoy it. You know, the beauty of being live. Cool. Well, we'll just head on over in a second to my teams. I wanted just to say that after last week's stream, and I had a really nice chat to a few great people on the Ultimate Champions Discord. The link's in the description below. Go on over and check it out. If you're really unsure about anything, there are loads of people there that will help you out. You guys have been brilliant to me because I realise I've come from a completely different world to you guys, so I realise I'm learning from scratch, and everyone's been so helpful there. So one thing I was really struggling with when I chatted to you last week was like not knowing where to take my collection. And after like chatting to you, doing a little poke around, having a little chat to a few people, I've decided that I'm going to kind of focus my collection, and this will be different for everyone. So the one thing I went and did was I checked the most cards I had for each tournament pretty much, and I think that's a really good idea for anyone who's fairly new to the game. They don't know where to focus their collection. Depending on what cards you've already collected, it will be very different what you're, maybe where you should focus your collection. And for me, because I kind of started towards the end of last season and picked up a lot of Arsenal players, the UC International Tier 1 seemed to be where a lot of my collection fell into. So that's where I'm kind of focusing my collection at the moment, and the All-Star tournament, which we kind of had a little poke around in last week as well, a little bit of a try of. So I had enough MGC after that, that getting that 29th place. So I got a silver pack, of which I got Hume out of. Very happy with that. And I did have a little spend on some more players yesterday. Went on a bit of a spending spree. And I picked up Leno. So hang on a second. Let me just pull up my team so you guys can see it. And this is my league team, potentially for 117 at the moment. And at the moment I've got Sava in, but I have bought Leno. So if I go to my collection, and I'll put up my newest. Now I didn't have a lot to spend, so I had to pick one up that wasn't minted. Let's just say, he's a little worse for wear as this Leno. He's a little tired. He's been busy for his previous owner. So I'd like to look at minting him, Speedy. And you're going to talk me through this because I've not done it before, and it might help others wanting to do this particular process.
Fantastic. So as you know, we've got three stages. You've got your mint, your good, and then your, I'm going to call it standard or regular, which I think Leno is in currently. Great buy, by the way. Scores fantastically since moving to Fulham in the Premier League, and they're obviously playing Chelsea on Monday, and Chelsea's strike department hasn't been on top form lately. So what we will do if we want to remint, so what that does basically is that will take it from its current status and move it up depending on what rarity of card we mint. So if we go to Burnt Leno, you'll see at the bottom you have the boost and the burn function. Always be very careful that if you're on that specific athlete and you want to boost him, that you click on the boost option. Once you've done that, you will actually see there's a number of pluses at the bottom. So if you click on that plus, it'll open up. You actually get a little filter on the top right-hand side where you can go in and search your collection to see if you have any non-covered athletes. Now, what a non-covered athlete is, they were in Ultimate Champions, part of one of the licensed clubs or leagues. They have since left and joined a league or a country that we don't currently cover. So if you're assured that that specific athlete or player may not return in the future, you can actually use them to burn and add extra mint onto your current card.
Okay.
So I'm assuming you've done your not covered
Yep.
search.
We have Burker, Mansberg, and Bar.
Fantastic. So those are the three that we could potentially use. So what we would then do, so I think let's start with Bursa. We can click on Bursa.
Yeah, I've selected him.
Perfect. And then it should give you an option for you to boost or done.
I think done. Yeah.
Perfect. And then it might pop up with your 2FA.
No, we're good on that, but it's saying that it will take me just to the orange with Bursa.
That's it. So what we'll do is once we've completed this, we'll go back in and we will take the other player and we will do that as well. Because remember, an epic only gives you a certain amount of entries per tournament and moves you up a certain amount of levels for the mint.
Okay, so I'll burn and boost that first. Burn and boost. Oh, hang on, it is now asking for feedback for 2 seconds. Hopefully I can give me.
Remember, guys, the reason we have the 2FA and it's good to have it activated is obviously for safety purposes and things like that.
If you guys see this because it'll be changing in a few seconds. I don't actually know whether this will. Hopefully, it's will confirm. No, it's not going to do it this time. Right. Okay. So anyway, that's what you would do, and then once I've decided on who else to burn alongside Bursa, then I can get Leno up to full strength and I can add him in. So that's how we would do that. Obviously Speedy touched upon why we have the 2FA there, but I think I needed to have the other authenticator open, so that's why that didn't work. But yeah, that's how we work it. And obviously, the one thing I would say is that there's a couple of other people in my collection, which I'll quickly maybe just kind of look at them now, that kind of fit in the criteria that could go for me. But what I've got to do, so Anderson, Christensen are also two that could potentially leave my team. They haven't played for the last 5, but what I need to make sure is that I don't want to consider them for future use for, summer tournaments or anything like that. So just, it's one thing just to be aware of before you go kind of just chucking people away willy-nilly.
100%. Always make sure that it's either a definite do not cover or they potentially haven't played in a while, and make sure that you are minting for the right reasons as well, especially if you can stand a chance in a specific tournament. Because remember, when you mint it up to mint, you get a specific percentage depending on the rarity of card, and the condition bonus of 15%, which is added onto your score, and that could potentially lead to being the difference of a win or not winning at the end of the day.
Yeah. Brilliant. So this is my league team, and it will have Leno in it once I've boosted it. So that's all good. Obviously, I'm waiting on Saka news, but that's who I have in my midfield. Pellegrino, obviously captain. And then the tournaments this week that we've looked at and decided to have a little enter at, Speedy, we've gone in on the tier 1, haven't we? Because that's where we focused our cards. But I'm not quite at a stage yet where I can be going pro, because I'm kind of somewhere between that 7 epics, the 2 epics. So I'm not quite at a stage where I can enter pro. So we've taken another stab at the semi-pro. So we didn't win any champ coin for semi-pro last time, but we've decided, because I've got a few new cards this time, that we're gonna give it another stab right on the semi-pro.
Yeah, 100%. So you did some nice shopping. I think you've got your junior Ito, which you've got from Rims. You also got Helic. He might not be in this team, but I know you got him in as well.
Yeah.
And then obviously your Leno. So we've tried to put quite a few epics into this specific semi-pro with a couple of comments, to see how we can progress in this specific tournament and division.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've gone for Odegaard, simply because we're hoping he'll step up with the likes of Martinelli and Saka out of the team. So
yeah, he hasn't done too much lately, but potentially an away game against Bournemouth on the weekend, he can have those high peaks and have great games. So hopefully he shows us what he can do over the weekend.
Absolutely. And then we've taken another stab at the All-Stars. So we have gone pro here, and we've gone big at the back, right? So we've decided to do a little sub trick on this one. And we're playing Anderson, as long as I don't end up burning him to mint Leno. And we've put Innes on the bench, and we put Bride on the bench, and we're hoping that one of those will come in for Anderson. And then what you can see most about this is really that I'm looking to try and bolster out my midfield when it comes to my epic cards, because I don't have a whole lot of them.
100%. And I think what's important, we entered this tournament on your behalf last week as well. Obviously, you had a decent placing in 29th. Was 600 MGC, which assisted towards that silver pack.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, with your epics needing to have 7 epics specifically for this division, that's why we've got strong gone strong at the back. Those 5 at the back, whether they concede or not, they can score very, very well. So we've taken another stab. And I think this discussion point that we are speaking about where to put your players is very important. Whether you are a manager that has been around for a long time or is just starting, especially when you're starting. When you do your onboarding and your draft, etc., and you start building your team, I would say, because we have so many tournaments and divisions at this stage, start focusing on a couple and gearing towards them. I know personally with my collection, and it's nowhere near any of our bigger collections that we've got, but I sit quite a few times, and sometimes I spread myself too thin across all the various divisions. So try and put focus on certain things first. Once you've done that, then look at the other tournaments and divisions that surround it.
Absolutely. That's what I was doing for too long. I think when we came in to the winter leagues, I kind of panicked and I didn't know where to focus my cards. So I was just entering tournaments all over the place, wherever it kind of looked strongest, rather than kind of focusing my efforts. So that's a really good point. I think go check out your collection. I would check out where your best epics are. If you're lucky enough to have any mythics, I'm not yet. I'm still building. I would check out where those best people are, and then that's the tournament I would kind of focus on. And as I say, that will be very different for everyone. I just annoyingly happen to be in one of the most competitive tournaments. I just happen to kind of fall there, just based on when I joined, and and obviously going all in on Arsenal at the end of last season. But yeah, that's where we're at. So we're gonna choose the silver pack now, right?
Fantastic. Let me
yeah.
double check if we have our winner, Nim. While we're waiting for that, you touched on a good point that I wanted to mention to anyone listening that is not aware. Once you've completed your top teams and your divisions, even if you've got spare cards and you need to enter certain tournaments with do not plays, etc., as well, that are not playing that game week, throw them in there, because you never know. You might get a 25 MGC here, a 50 MGC there. That all accumulates at the end of the day, and obviously leads to being able to purchase certain packs in the pack store.
Absolutely. And I would also say the same for the basketball. If you can remember just to chuck a team in there, whatever it may be, it's earning you some MGC. And that MGC that I've just been saving up over time, because I haven't known where to focus my collection with, has got me a silver pack, and it's got me Hugh. So yeah, I think it's really worth doing. I haven't yet filled in the rest of my tournaments, but I will be doing with the rest of my cards for sure. Cool.
Fantastic. Yeah, I haven't bought any MGC packs. I've actually been saving. I'm eyeing one out. So when I reach that threshold, I'll think I'll rip one, and we'll see if I'm lucky or not.
Awesome. I'm silver is kind of my collection score limit at the moment. Unfortunately, I would have loved to keep saving a little bit more and gone for a goal, but yeah, I'm not there with my collection yet. So something to work towards.
Most definitely. Everything is progression at the end of the day, and you need to grind up. And where you can, like you've been doing, when you see a couple of cards that you think will benefit your team or teams, then obviously you go into the marketplace and you make an offer.
Yeah, been bartering hard. I've been bartering hard. So
Shem, I'm not getting a response. Oh, I am.
hey.
So we have a winner. Our winner is Grant Smith.
Oh, well done.
Who is in our group. So congratulations, Grant Smith. If you are on Discord, or you just leave your details with us, it will be greatly appreciated. Or you can reach out to me within Discord, and then I'll be able to get all your relevant details and send you that silver pack. And I wish you all the best of luck when ripping it.
Yeah, make sure you sub to the channel too, as a thank you. Right, cool. Well, that is us. Thank you all so much for joining us. I hope this has been helpful again. Do make sure to check out Ultimate Champions in the description below, and remember that if you do invest anything, only invest what you can afford to lose. But we have had a great time today. Thank you all so much for joining us. Speedy, we're hoping to do it all again next week, all being well. And soon after that, I think we're looking to be adding a few guests as well. So all is good. Thank you all so much. So it's goodbye from me and goodbye from Speedy. Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys. Until next time, Nimbriav.
Feels like I'm caught up in a trance. Can come down all night. The city never stood a chance. With you by my side, it's all ours. So don't second guess. Let down your guard. Just take a chance. I feel the hours ticking down. Wish I could turn